What's work hardening? All right. Remember when you were a kid and you had a piece of wire and you wanted to cut it but didn't have anything to cut it with? What did you do? You bent it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And as you bent it, it got stiffer. And then it got to the point where it all of a sudden would break. Well, when you bent it back and forth, you rearrange the crystalline structure because of the mechanical force that you're putting into it. You're causing the crystals to break down and become smaller, and the grain boundaries start to interact with each other when you get small enough, and then all of a sudden you have two pieces. That's work hardening. Now, when I take a piece of, say, dead soft copper and I wind it around a mandrel to make a jump ring, it's no longer dead soft. It becomes quarter hard. If I take some dead soft and I really, gee, for this project I really want half hard, but I don't have any. All I've got in stock is some dead soft. Well, I'll clamp one end to my bench and I'll take a polishing cloth and I'll grab the wire and I'll sort of have it bend around my fingers, protected by the polishing cloth, and I'll go like that. And I'll just keep on going like that 4, 5, 6, 10 times. And all of a sudden I got a piece of wire that's a lot stiffer than what I started with. So that's work hardening. Sometimes when you wind a coil to make rings, you'll wind it on a 3mm mandrel, and after you cut it and close it and measure it, well, that's 3.1 millimeters. Well, that's because that's springback. Springback has to do with the hardness or springiness of the material. And when you wrap it around the mandrel, you're actually increasing that because you're working the metal, cold working the metal. And cold working in most materials, most kinds of metals, causes a hardening because of the rearrangement of the grain structure. Now, there's some materials that don't really work harden. Fine silver doesn't work harden. 24 karat gold, pure gold, doesn't work harden. Both of those pure metals. So that you're not changing the grain structure there because the material is just inherently doesn't break down when you... Now, when you start to alloy it, then you get, you get the difference because it's a totally different grain structure once you alloy it. You add other materials to it. So that's work hardening and springback.